Welcome back to Hacker Hangouts live on a Saturday morning, a couple weeks after DEF CON. And I am already waiting for the next one because DEF CON is a beautiful, beautiful place. Yeah, but yet the topic is DEF CON is dead. And long live DEF CON. And as we were talking about after DEF CON and, oh goodness, like how it's changed and how it's changed from the Alexis Park days where I was never at them during those days.
My day.
But it's changed, and there's been so many iterations, and every single year, there's people who are like, DEF CON is dead. DEF CON is dead to me. We're done. We're done. And then yet, every single year they come. And as I thought about this topic, and as you and I started talking about it, it made me realize that I love these people. I love the people in some ways who go, like, DEF CON is dead, because they have so much passion about DEF CON, like we do, that they care enough that, like, part of them is dead when they feel like it's changing. And this was like, look, at the soul of Jason Street's conversation with me was DEF CON groups passionately defending, like, all right, we're DC this, or like, we want to be known by DEF CON. And DEF CON is a place for passionate people. And let's talk about that.
My favorite is every year, without fail, someone is always like, "Oh, it's officially FedCon now. It's officially FedCon. DEF CON is dead because the feds are just all over it." It's like, man, have you not been coming since like DEF CON? I don't know, 12, 10. Yeah. As DT says, and I'm gonna paraphrase him horribly. If you don't have a seat at the table, they make the decision without you. So you have to build bridges, not burn them down. But yeah, so it's that one always makes me chuckle. And this year, you know, it was very apparent, just like it was last year, with the AICC taking up a huge chunk of the conference, and there was a lot of grumbles about it, and understandable, because, you know, we took a walk through that section a few times and realized that this is a whole lot of space and not a lot to do here, and that hopefully will not be the case next year because there is no AICC next year, but it'll be interesting to see what they do with that space next year.
I mean, the counter to that, though, is like this year I gained, I'm sure you did too, but like I gained a huge amount of respect, not for AICC, but for the people who run AICC and the teams that competed. Like, these weren't, some of the teams, there was very clearly some teams were like sponsored and didn't really know DEF CON or anything like that. But then there was like a team like Theory, who legitimately I crack up when we interviewed him, where he's like, I've actually never seen DEF CON, because while I've been at DEF CON every single year, all I've done is the CTFs every single year, because what kind of like how we were with Darknet. Show me anywhere else I can go and have this much fun. Why would I ever leave Capture the Flag when I'm having so much fun doing this? So
yeah,
you had teams which had been around for a long time.
It's this weird secret, I guess, that it's not a very well kept secret, but like everyone that competes in these really, really big competitions like the Cyber Grand Challenge or AICC, they've been coming to DEF CON for like 20 years. Like, it's just that they've always been off in one specific corner doing the CTF thing. And so it's like, I always chuckle about, all the feds are here doing this. I was like, yeah, a bunch of suits are showing up to make sure it looks pretty, and that, you know, you get the little bit of politics sprinkled in, but you kind of got to deal with that at the same time that, I mean, you are still promoting hacking, and like those people are legitimately doing the hacking and not just InfoSec shit.
And you have like Andrew Kearney, who like legitimately talking to him. He had been coming to DEF CON a long time. And part of me hit this weird moment in talking to him, talking to Theory, and going, oh my gosh, I'm old now. Like like we've been coming to DEF CON for a long time. I'm now old. And you realize, why is there more feds at DEF CON? It's because the people who were going went and got jobs and kept coming to DEF CON. Like, this is one of...
We had an interview with Dark Tangent and Kari Byron from Mythbusters. He's doing some cool stuff that you'll get to hear about when that interview comes out. But DT even said this in one of his stories. He realized the reason why he can't fuck it up is because he had someone approach him and say, hey, the reason I have a job, the reason why I pulled myself out of, XYZ position is because you started DEF CON. I came to DEF CON, I got a job, and now it works. And he just had that realization that, oh, I can't fuck this up.
Well, I think it was also
and the guy
pulled
with the
up his
tattoo.
sleeve. Yeah, he pulled up his sleeve and he's like, and also I have a DEF CON tattoo.
Yeah, he's like, well, now it's on his body. I can't fuck it up. Like, that was a really cool story to hear. But yeah, now we're the old people.
And then a piece of his mind at the same time is like, oh, challenge accepted. Oh, I can make that mean something else.
Oh no.
One of it is interesting. This is the second year at LVCC, and this is the second year I felt like this. Now, mind you, LVCC is ginormous, and I didn't walk around nearly as much this year as in years past. But I'm going to say something, and I think I know the reason behind it. Is it didn't feel like DEF CON as it felt like at Paris Bally's, Caesars for a little bit, and then not at Caesars, and I'll get my point in a minute. And I think I know why. Did you get that feeling too?
Yep, I got that feeling last year, and it reinforced it this year. It didn't feel like the DEF CON of my day. Back in my day, DEF CON was so different. There were dark corners everywhere where the hackers lived.
Now all of a sudden it's weirdly lit up, and it's funny because there's two reasons. One, we're no longer in a casino, and casinos are kind of dark and dingy and like kind of like a little bit smelly and things like that. And now we're in this conference hall. But my thought was, when we were at like Rio, Riviera, even Paris Bally's. So like, I'm thinking about like Rio, Riviera, like that type of timing. There was a lot of art. There was a lot of arts and entertainment. There was a lot of like, because DEF CON had massive store, like they keep storage in Las Vegas, like QM, if anyone's ever seen it, usually it's kind of like behind the scenes doing like getting stuff everyone needs. But they have all the art they bring every year. And while there's new art every year, a lot of the old stuff can get recycled and put out. Like things like at the chill out lounges, the little centerpieces, which are all the electronics and LEDs, those get reused. And when you went from Riviera to Rio, even Paris Bally's, we got to build up this repository of, or the surplus of art. We went to Caesars, could still fill the space pretty easily. And Caesars was kind of like weirdly, you're up and down escalators, there's elevators, smaller rooms, so easy to make them feel filled. Then you went to the Forum. And DEF CON only had, how long were we at the Forum? 2 years? 3 years? 2 years? They didn't have this much time at the Forum because you went to this massive amount of space to build up the repository, build up the surplus of art. And then by the time you could get it there, you're now in the LVCC, which is ginormous. And there's also the additional restrictions. You can't put art maybe on the floor. You can't do this.
It's not just that. There's fewer vertical surfaces.
Yeah.
Like the wall, like even at Caesars Forum, there were actual walls that you could hang stuff up on. Now it's all curtains. So there's not really a place to put art.
I'm gonna expand on this because this is you and I talked about this a little bit, but I think I'm on a topic which I don't have a solution for, and I don't know if DEF CON has a solution for it, and I don't know if like us as speaking on behalf of all of the community, like not really, but is you have so much more space. So we both agree, ton more space, which means more contests, more speaking, more communities, more villages, more everything. So that DEF CON needs to now accept more contests, more villages, more speakers, more everything. And when contests first come out, like, do you remember the first time Darknet? That's the one I have in mind. When I played Darknet for the first time, it was like a booth in the corner selling kind of like a badge, which they kind of talked about a contest. There was no art. There was no nothing, which made it feel like Darknet. By the end of Darknet, there was art and in culture and in signs and all the stuff that goes with a mature contest. Let's hack Fortress. You have screens and computers and the big wood box. Scav Hunt, another perfect example. Tons and tons and tons of art. I have to imagine the first year of Scav Hunt, it was a table with a handwritten list. Now, it is, you can see Scav Hunt from across the room and know it's there. So you bring all these new contests. One of two things happen. Either A, they're brand new contests which haven't developed art, so they're just a booth with people talking. Or two, the only way they can make themselves stand out is they go and find a sponsor, which is like sponsored by blah, blah, blah. And now they can have money to create the art, to get the ambience, but then it feels commercial. And I hit on this problem. I don't know if there's a solution, because when you want to get more contests, you have space to fill it up. How do you balance it? Because if you bring in new contests that I've never seen before, there's going to be problems with them. There's going to be immaturities in them, but there's not going to be any art to make it feel like a contest.
That's interesting. I think that is probably something that we're feeling throughout DEF CON right now. I was going to point out the fact that the more you walk through DEF CON now, the more you notice sponsored by type placards around everything. I mean, like Aerospace Village. All the villages are just like sponsored by blah. And especially like our booth, Silk's Roadhouse, was it was catty corner to the vendor area, but really part of not the villages, the communities, which felt like it was mostly just additional stages for people to give talks, which good. But like when you walked around, it felt like community sponsored by, community sponsored by, community sponsored by. And it's not, just to be clear, it doesn't seem like it's DEF CON allowing sponsors per se. It is the people finding any way possible to try and cobble this thing together, realizing, hey, it's really expensive to go to DEF CON now, just by nature of it being in Vegas. Like Vegas is now stupidly expensive. And just being there on the day, and then also having to deal with LVCC and also having to deal with all these things, it is now very expensive for somebody to run one of these things. It is no longer I can just set up a booth, sit down, set up a booth, and we have friends that are running a new contest, Reality Overrun, and the amount of work that they clearly had to put into that over the course of the year just to get that thing up and running with some semblance of art, mostly digital. And then, it's like it's not to knock them. It seems significantly harder now to make people aware of what you are trying to bring to DEF CON just by nature of how much space there is. It's so easy to just walk by 50% of this stuff at DEF CON and never know it exists.
Mm-hmm. And you bring up Aerospace Village, which is just such a perfect example. If you walk through Aerospace Village, there is no way they could have made that without some sort of sponsor. Like there is the sheer amount of work. This is a full-time job just to bring this. It was interesting. So I had to laugh. There was Melissa and I watch America's Got Talent, and one of the things was totally like a Boston Dynamics, like robots dancing thing, and I was cracking up, going like, oh. It's now sponsored by Boston Dynamics. Like there's no way they can afford like 6 different of these robots without just being sponsored. So now it's just a corporation going, hey, we're going to sponsor a team. But then it's weird. You balance this out with the exact same thing of going, okay, well, if I take sponsors, I can do this thing which has never been seen before. But if I don't take sponsors, it might take more time, but I might not get the traction I need to keep going. It's a weird dichotomy.
It undermines, and this is, I think, what we're feeling. It undermines the authenticity of what we knew as DEF CON, or at least it feels like it does. It undermines it, and that's why the whole like DEF CON is dead, long live DEF CON is clearly DEF CON's not going anywhere. And we always joke year after year, oh, DEF CON is FedCon, oh, DEF CON is dead, and it's like, see you at DEF CON 34, you'll be back. But at the same time, it does start to feel year over year like we are turning into an infosec conference, a typical infosec conference, and you're losing the authenticity of the culture. The culture's still there. I think you just you have to look for it, and you have to look harder than you had to look yesterday to find it. And I think some of the I wanted to bring this up, the cohesion of the conference, and by cohesion I mean being able to look at any random attendee and just go, that person is also a hacker. Like, they are me. I am them. That seems to be breaking, where you have more people willing to go, there's this group of people that are showing up and they are not me.
Mm-hmm.
And these people over here, these are we. And we're the hackers. These are not the hackers. Right. And I think the cohesion of the conference is starting to break due to the size. Is it a bad thing? I don't know. I just think that the culture and that kind of not same-mindedness is not the right terminology, but the willingness to look at a random stranger and just go, you are me, I am you, and this is our culture, is now it's fracturing, I think.
I think there's one comment I want to pull back on the other topic before we dive into that. I think of the policy village and realize that that is something that would not have existed in old DEF CON, where it's government people who make and drive policy changes who are asking the opinion of the community to drive actual like governmental policy change. That is nutty when you think about it. I think spinning to what you said though is we've always had this theory. This is something we've talked about in the stream before, which is the maybe not, I call it's probably, we could call it the 80-20, but in reality, I think it's closer to like the 5-95, is that you have this very small piece of DEF CON which adheres to what you're saying, where these feel like DEF CON attendees. Now, maybe it's a larger percentage, but because it's such a large space, I think those people have, well, let's say, found their tribe. But like hardware hacking, I have no idea where the hardware hacking village is. Those are a unique breed of people, and I love them dearly. Between Bunny and Rare runs the hardware hacking CTF. Like, they never leave that area. Like, they never leave hardware hacking. I didn't even see hardware hacking this year.
Yeah.
So I think what you're finding is a lot of, we'll say, the hardcore people have found their area, and that area is hard to find with a much larger space.
I don't know if I agree with that, because we were split over 4 or 5 hotels that one year, and it was hard, but then you would show up and it was like madhouse. Remember, they were in the basement of Flamingo, and it was like a madhouse down there that year. And it was hard to find. It was hard to get to, right? So like it's not, but the physical finding of people is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the ideological, what you just said. Oh, there's the 5% and the 95%. And there's the people coming. I think it is literally getting harder to hold together the culture, the hacking culture of DEF CON, because it is getting so big, because the number of people who are coming, and we'll say they're not entrenched necessarily in the culture, and hacking becoming somewhat normal. Like, you can just find stuff on YouTube now. Like, the culture is not diluting, but it's becoming less of a counterculture just by nature of it being accepted by general society that, we kind of need these type of people, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Where it used to be, not used to be, I can't even say that definitively. We all felt in some way that we would go to DEF CON and, it's the land of misfits and we're all misfits. It feels less like that now, where if you're walking through, like, we have goon shirts. So like, we walk through and we feel okay interacting with anyone and everyone, and they know we're DEF CON, and we're open to having that conversation. The more I interact with people who've been there for a long time versus people who are new, the feeling of culture for a new person walking in, unless they are given a red carpet to a front row to all of that hidden culture, it is now very hard for them to break into that space. I would say that, I had a friend of mine come with us, and he had a front row seat to some of the inner workings, if you will, and he got introduced to a bunch of people he wouldn't have otherwise been introduced to, and then he went off and he thanked me later for giving him that experience, because he doesn't think he would have been able to have anywhere near that experience if he wasn't with us, right? I think that new person coming in without that red carpet, without that hand holding, would not have anywhere close to the same interaction with the conference. I think it's getting harder for someone to walk in and sit down at a random table and say, teach me this, because you have such a large glut of, I'll say, new people, but also normies is the wrong word, but like
NPCs,
people who, not NPCs. No, no, because
muggles.
I'm not a sociopath. But like people that 5 years ago, a lot of the attendees at DEF CON would not call hackers. And I'm not saying these people aren't hackers. I'm saying it feels like the cohesion of that old guard and people that have built that counterculture are creating walls, cultural walls that say these people aren't hackers, right? They're feds. Feds can't be hackers, which is patently untrue.
I think I'm looking at a couple things in chat, but the one moment I think was one of the highlights of my DEF CON didn't happen at DEF CON. It actually happened in Detroit, at the Detroit airport, which I find hilarious. One of my favorite things every year at DEF CON is Spot the DEF CONer. And you can go to the airport. If you go to your terminal, you can spot who's going to DEF CON. Like very, very definitively. Like it's not even like they might be going. It is that person's going to DEF CON. And this year I did something different and legitimately just pointed at it. I go, you're DEF CON. We should have a conversation. Because I was meeting Shepard weirdly enough, he was connecting through DTW. So I met him at the terminal. So it was two of us standing next to each other. And then this third one joined. And then the fourth one joined. And then the fifth one joined. And all of a sudden, you now had people walking up, realizing there was just people there. And you always leave a space for Jesus in your group so people can just walk on up. And you can walk, and you always leave that space for people to come on up. And at the end of it, there was like 12 of us. And it was hilarious because it was all clearly DEF CON. I'm sure people were watching and going like, oh, there is a cult forming here. And they're all going together. And I think it's that piece which I'm not sure how to do at DEF CON.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy when you're out in the world. It's weirder when it's at DEF CON. And I don't know if it's because everyone's on a journey or a mission to go somewhere, or I don't know. It's that piece, and I don't know what it is. Like to where there's the chill out lounges. I noticed it in the parties this year too. They were all in smaller rooms. Like there was like the second floor chill out lounge, which I think had the pirate one last year. And maybe I just missed it. But even like the big rave and stuff like that were in these like smaller rooms where I remember like DEF CON. I mean, this is like a long time ago, but like DEF CON 23, 24 when Rabbit and the Moon had like this massive packed room where there wasn't like 50 parties at night. There was like 4. And it was like a massive packed room, and it was the coolest. Like I've never gone to a rave or anything like that, but like Rabbit in the Moon, big giant helmet, everyone's hitting the things, like smoke's flying, lasers are coming down. It's like, oh, this is something unique. I don't know if you felt that too.
I mean, part of it is, and we haven't quite discussed what all we did at con, but like we kind of sat in Silk's Roadhouse doing interviews most of the time, which was a complete departure from what we have previously done with video, where we would go out and do things. And so we tried something new this year. And the thing we learned this year was don't do that. Just like the prior years, like the one year where we went out and tried to capture everything, we came back, we were like, never again. We're never doing that again. I think we swung too far in the other direction, right? We stayed at Silk's Roadhouse. We didn't see a ton of the conference as a result. We had a conversation with a lot of people. And we got a pretty good feeling of, the fact that we had to walk a quarter of a mile just to get the scav hunt made us sad, right? Literally a quarter mile like that. that made me sad. So we had that discussion like, oh, we should probably put our booth somewhere closer, just closer to the action, if you will. Also, we love scav hunts, so there's that. But also, the parties didn't really do it for me this year. I don't think anything particularly different changed, other than maybe I'm a dad now and I'm tired and I'm an old curmudgeon. I have no place at the rave anymore.
I mean, let's stick on the video thing because I wanted to talk about like every year we do it differently. And I think this year we got to experience like who like deep interviews, like longer podcast videos. They're going up on Hacker Hangouts. They're going on DEF CON. I still have like 5 other videos to do and like edit and get up. And it hits me. One of the video I cannot wait to push out is the one where like we invaded the Scav Hunt's table and just like went across conference, and I need to shoot a little bit more of it and I need to edit it. But I want to do videos next year, not as in this year we did it a little different, but in years past, it's like, here is this thing at DEF CON. And then we started doing the Scav Hunt list, and it's like, here, let's go on this journey together. And I think those videos nail it. Like a little bit of it is, we kind of intermixed it a little bit. This year was like, well, let's meet some of the people behind like AICC, what these teams are, what is Theory doing. And I was also like fascinated by the fact that you could have like an LLM like fix bugs and things like that. But I think next year what I want to do is like, let's go do something at DEF CON and try and record it. And this is neither of us do video or anything like this. It's not like talking to the audience, but like neither of us do video. This is not a full-time job for us. Neither of us have any idea what we're doing when it comes to this. Probably me more than Gowrie.
You could say that we're just hacking this together.
Got it. Nailed it. And I think I want to do like, I don't have vloggy style, but like, let's go do a thing and see if we can capture it in a much shorter video versus this. Like, let's go do interviews. The thing which makes me almost like a little uncomfortable is I realize that we are now the subject and not necessarily the people we're interacting with to pull them in. But I don't know. Well, maybe next year we'll try that.
Well, I think we definitely decided like, having the space was nice for when we actually want to sit down and have a long form discussion. So next year, I think what we're going to do, we've already discussed this a little bit. We're going to have a silk show until like dedicated hours. We will be at the booth during this time. You have a badge or a thing you've been working on or something you brought to DEF CON. Let's talk about it. Let's sit down. Let's just do a short fire, like 15-20 minute discussions with people. And then we're going to go do DEF CON. I think we were a little sad that we were trapped in the booth. We had some great times there, great discussions. We got to, I would say I learned more about DEF CON this year, like the structure, the behind the scenes, and kind of like not the politics of it, but like how hard it is to actually make this shit work. I learned more about it this year than I learned other years, which is nice. Like difficult things to capture on camera, difficult things to discuss, but interesting.
A couple comments is going back. Braden says this again, a few DEF CON DC Next Gen, which he is an awesome interview, which if you have kids going to DEF CON, go watch that video, learn about DC Next Gen, like by Science Lab, runs it. I've only met her a couple times. She is incredible. The fact that she's like younger and have put this thing together and it's taken off is just freaking fantastic. But it's now every year, it looks like it's getting better. And even Braden has said next year will be even better. I think it just takes time to build up some of that art. Hard Hat Brigade. Wear a hard hat for more engagement. Seriously, though, local DC groups are the way to get noobs plugged in. I think there is so much of a growth towards the DC groups. Talking to Jason Street, I didn't realize, by the way, he just goes around to all of these groups and hands out swag and things like that to like help them out any way they can. He is a beautiful man. I just need to say that. I think DC groups are an interesting one, which are growing. I think that one, just like most jobs, depends on your manager. Like DC groups is going to totally depend on whatever community you find with it. However, what I want to jump to now is kind of a little bit of a swap. We were looking at Reddit and Twitter, and there's a few things that happen at DEF CON that I want to dive into. Are you ready if I share out your screen?
Oh, yeah. This stuff is good stuff.
There we go. So, I'll start and then we'll jump to it. So, anyone who went to Hacker Jeopardy, Lintile, who is the announcer for it, is, again, an absolute incredible human being in the way he runs it with so much energy. And there was a lot of technical difficulties. First night, there was a lot of technical difficulties, not with the mic, but just like audio wasn't working. And I think it was just new space, them trying to get it together, things like that. But Lintile, again, carried it like a master in just how he kept everyone. Like he just starts everyone. The whole crowd is singing the Jeopardy theme song and things like this. Incredible. But the second night, I didn't go. We went and shot other things. There was mic issues. Well, later it turns out someone came out and was like, "Oh, I was the one messing with it," and we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, so this is the post by the person, and I've cut off their name because I'm not interested in names. You can find this stuff if you really want.
Because definitely screw that guy.
So the important part of this is that this person came out and said that, there were mic disconnections at Hacker Jeopardy. I intentionally disconnected Lintile's host mic at the beginning and intermittently the Chalupa's mic during the competition, which they still overcame. To be clear, all other AV issues, including the video hiccups and random announcements over the LVCC PA system, had nothing to do with me. First of all, the LVCC PA system, there was nothing wrong with it. Those were intentional. And just to be clear, don't let InfoSec get in the way of hacking, period. The end. Everyone needs to be reminded of that all the time, forever, until they get the message. This guy came out and said, I want to apologize to the community. I learned an important lesson. POC should not come at the expense of events and other attendees at DEF CON. I won't do it again. The thing that I'm like, cool, great. I have been an audio engineer for over 20 years. Nah, man. Fuck you. Like, you do this professionally and you did this on purpose because POCs and like blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, dude. Yes, you fucked it up and everyone knows you fucked it up. And don't be surprised if no one wants to like forgive you for this, man. I'd be honored to give a talk at DC 34 on better securing the
piss off.
No, like I'm okay. I'm
gonna jump in here. There is legitimately people have known me long enough. I don't get riled up like this. This guy can go die of to quote Ace Ventura, can die of gonorrhea and rot in hell. No, I mean like legitimately. Screw this guy and all that he stands for. Legitimately, there is very little redemption to have for a person like this. Maybe with years and years of help, maybe you can overcome this. But like this one pisses me off to no extent. And here's why. Because you have 2 times a year to experience Hacker Jeopardy, and it's at DEF CON. In Lintile, again, I cannot speak more highly of this man. So much energy, so much positivity. You can see him light up and the crowd feels it. The fact that you screwed with such a beautiful thing and then have the audacity to be able to say, oh, and if I'd be honored to give a talk, like
honored.
Yikes, man. Come on. Just yikes. So, okay, he shouldn't die. I'll pull that back, but like yikes, man. Yeah. Maybe lose a finger or something.
I will never make. I don't wish anybody harm, but like this is the definition of fucking it up, and like not once but twice. You fucked it up by fucking with the microphones, and then in an attempt to give an apology, you said I'd be honored to give a talk at DC 34 on better security. No. Like you don't get honored for fucking it up. Like you gotta give back to the community in some real way, and getting a talk is not like we had this discussion about somebody who tried to collect all of the DEF CON badges at DEF CON 31 or 30, maybe it was 30, I forget. And they did everything that they could in order to acquire a vendor badge and a goon badge and all these things. And the thing that really set that crossed the line was getting a hold of a goon badge. and then ultimately getting a hold of a black badge, which is supposed to be an actual honor. You did something cool at DEF CON, you're at the top of the game, or you really represent the community, etc. Whatever, you got an Uber badge. And was telling the story of how he went about doing this. And the biggest problem with that is that the badges aren't a game, right? You have a press badge because you adhere to certain rules. You have a goon badge because you represent the conference in some way. You have a vendor badge, which gets you into the vendor area with a bunch of stuff. Like this system, not a game. Like, it has actual consequences to it. So like when you come to a conference, like you did here, like this person did here, and start screwing with the mic and screwing with something someone else is presenting to the conference, entertaining the conference with, engaging with the culture with, and you are like, oh, I'm gonna play. You're fucking it up. You're like, it's like going to the CTF and attacking the CTF. It's not in the spirit of the game. It's not in the spirit of the conference. The fact that you don't understand that and then think that I would be honored to give a talk on these things, as opposed to like, oh, next year, why don't I just help you guys do this and sit in the background for a little bit rather than trying to make a name for yourself? You got it all backwards, dude. And, I don't have patience for this at all. And I'm not going to wish anybody harm. I'm not going to wish anyone bad, but it's so beyond the pale of,
I'll pull back. I should, again, not wishing him harm. For the sake of video, but the truth is no. This is a lesson to be learned. This really is. But this hits to the heart of what I think. Like, we talked about hacker community and whatnot. This is not in the spirit of hacker community. I think even more so than that, though, is audio is really, really difficult. Like, for me, who knows nothing about it, use like DJI mics and things like that. Like, those are 2.4 gigahertz. Everything runs on that. You want to create enough white noise to knock them offline? Congratulations. There's no defense. It was like de-authing on WPA2. Congratulations. You found a flaw in the protocol that everyone else knows, and it's not you can't defend it. You go to WPA3, boom, it's defended. Like, you don't win here. No one wants to hear your talk. You're a terrible human being. No, I'm just kidding. Like, it's just like this one was beyond it. Especially, again, you have this point where the whole hacker community comes together, watches Jeopardy, like a game designed for us. And yikes, man. All I can say is yikes, man.
I'm going to spin it in one little thing here. I'll spin it back to actual hacking or something we discussed at the conference. These systems are not designed to be secure. So spinning this as next time I'll report the vulnerabilities and ask if I can make them better. It's like, these systems were never designed to be secure because they don't need to be. They're on site. All of these things, like, they're not. The purpose of these systems is not to be secure. The purpose of these systems is to enable someone to talk to a crowd, and not getting that piece of it and just fucking with it is like, come on, man.
I think, no, here. We're thinking about this wrong. Yep. 100%. 100% he should be given an ability to talk. And Lintile and Scav Hunt get control over his mic. Solution solved.
Has to do it. He has to do it entirely from the trauma dump porta potty.
Done.
All right. Hello, you beautiful, beautiful person. Welcome to the stream.
He comes right after the rage-filled conversation. Yeah. Let's jump to the next one, though. You have another one here. Yeah, I flip back on over. Yeah, perfect.
Feedback about the black badge raffle. So this one is lighthearted, right?
I read this one, and I think there's a discussion to be had here.
I love this.
Let's before anyone knows, there was the black badge raffle, because there's history which isn't shown in here. So the black badge raffle, I think it started with Sonicos. It was legitimately someone handed him a giant roll of tickets and said, here, get rid of these. So what does he do? He goes around con handing them out for the black badge raffle, like thousands of tickets, and says everyone who wants to have a chance to win a black badge, meet in the contest area at, blah, blah, blah time. And he picks one. And sure enough, I think it was a grifter got up and was like, you can't win a black badge this way. Go away. And then everyone kind of scattered. That was years ago. That is not what it is now. What it is now is legitimately Sonic Coast created effectively a trading card game. I'm going to totally show mine because I am so thrilled on this. We'll see if I can get it to show up. Boop, myself. Yeah, there's mine. Ooh. But then he has an entire packets of booster packs he gives out, which also shows cards. Here's the Malortware one. And it's an entire trading card game, and there's then there's like some challenge and cryptography in it. I'll flip back and then you can go back to your other one. So that's what it was. It started off as like this actual raffle thing. Actually, here's the black badge. He even has the actual ticket.
Yeah, I got it up.
That's what the tickets used to look like. Yeah, here we go. And flip back. But now it's a whole trading card game. So let's go back to the story on Reddit.
Okay, so the card states that the raffle takes place at the end of ceremonies, and you must be present to win Sonicos.
So hold on, you have to start earlier, which is he at the end of closing ceremony, he won one of the contests. There's hundreds and hundreds. It feels like there's hundreds of contests. Not all of them are black badge. He gets off stage. Someone hands him a closed booster pack, like an enclosed booster pack. The very last card just so happens to be, by dumb random happenstance, the black badge raffle ticket. To which then you can read you now pull up the comment.
Yeah, I'm summarizing it. So he waits until the end, and the card stated you had to be there at the end of closing ceremonies. You had to be present to win. So I stayed for closing ceremonies, cutting my timing for my flight very close. And as you might have guessed, there's no black badge raffle that took place. This is, like, just to be clear, from hackers, this is pool on the roof, right? Like, go check out the pool on the roof. There is no black badge raffle. There is a contest associated with it.
DEF CON is canceled.
Yeah, DEF CON is canceled. Go find the pool on the roof. I realized at this point I've been tricked, so I left feeling a little bit confused and dejected. I don't think this was malevolent. It's not. But I do think it was deceiving at best. And I got to tell you, man, like, okay, feedback, joke, all these things. On every single card, there is a link at the bottom. You can't really see it. There's a Blue Sky social link at the bottom. And if you were to have gone to any of these links, you would have found a thing that says, no, you cannot win a black badge this way. Probably not anyway. So I just lightheartedly, like, someone got trapped in the pool in the roof joke. And I feel bad for you, buddy, but it's really funny.
The two pieces. So first I'll empathize, which is I can understand winning a contest, learning about black badges, being like super excited to get one, like sitting there, then like being dejected that you got off the stage and you didn't actually win one because it's your first year, and then getting this thing and getting a little glimmer of hope, and it feels like a carrot getting dangled in front of you. Totally get it. The one which I'm again. Congratulations, you're part of the community. And if you look at the comments, people are like, it's like a snipe hunt to get you. I don't think it is. I think this is where what this is at this point is this is a part of the representation of like the underground community, the DEF CON community, not hacker culture, but like this is now DEF CON tradition. Congratulations, you are now part of this rich tradition. But the part I want to talk about with this isn't the dejection, isn't the congratulations, you're part of the community, but it's the response you have after you recognize that. And I think I get to the end of his post and he sees it as like, and I feel like I was just played, and I feel bad about this, and it leaves a bad taste in my mouth in the community, and I think we should get rid of it. And I think
he didn't say that. He all he really said is he thinks it needs to be reworked. Perhaps the wording for this gamer experimenter joke could be revised in the future. So it is a little bit of a snipe hunt.
And this is the piece, though, I'm gonna say, like, this is a lesson I think, like, I want to teach my kids, which is recognize the fact that the joke's not on you. Like, you got to play part of this. You're now part of this community. Like, this is the entry. Now all of a sudden, like, you're in on the joke. Like, you got to, maybe here's the way of saying it. At QM, when we went and did an interview at QM, Major Malfunction was telling us about this weird, goofy pinata they had. And to find out, there's a whole story going back years of like a marriage between this and then the Dispatch one. And there's a whole rich, like, weird story that exists. And it was like this piece of DEF CON culture that no one at the conference will see. Like, QM knows it, Dispatch knows it, but like the vast majority of goons have never even heard of it. And I feel like the Black Badge raffle is a piece of this culture that the mass majority, like, you stumbled on a secret. If you go to what was it, Omega Mart, which is like that thing of like, you know, the fake grocery store and whatnot, and you found a secret that most people don't get to experience at con. As big as huge as Black Badge raffle is, and as many booster packs as Sonicos gave out, and the stupid amount, like, here's the full set. Gosh, this is not going to come across. Like, it is a stupid amount of cards. These are all the unique cards. Like, it is a stupid amount of cards that he gave out, but most conference goers didn't get to experience it. So,
or just to be clear, there was an actual game to play with them that did not require you to collect all of them. But like, there is an inside joke. It is a little bit of a snipe hunt. The thing that makes it a little funny to me is that it's not like it was a closely held secret. All you had to do was go to a website. That's what makes it funny for me. It's like the information was right there for you to see. It's just you were not curious enough. Oof.
I think it's just
I'm not laughing at your expense. I do see how anyone could do this, and totally I could see myself. I'm pretty sure I attended the second year Black Badge raffle thinking it was real.
And I think, like, for me, it's like, at this point, flip it from like, oh, I have a piece of discovery that no one else has. I got my DEF CON story. That's what it is. I got my DEF CON story. And this is not a story of, oh, and I was defeated at the end, but I got to experience con in a way that no one has ever experienced. Think about the chances that you opened a random booster pack and it just so happens to be that the foil is the Black Badge raffle one.
It's a good story, man. It's a good story, man.
Speaking of which, for the people who are watching right now, Sonicos gave me a pile of booster packs to give out. So I'll give them out as we do streams, but we'll do whoever jumps into the Discord channel and shoots a message out on the general chat, I will mail you one, and then you can have the first booster pack of hopefully will be a handful of these. Thank you, Sonicos, for giving us these. He did an incredible job on these things.
So quick question. Have you seen Sonicos? Do you know where Sonicos is?
Oh, gosh. So many people. Can we get like 30 goon patches of Sonicos and just stick them on random people?
We need to, next year we need to get goon patches that, you know, you wear your goon patch and then you have a second one that says not Sonicos.
What was the comment? There was a great one is, I don't know which goon actually made them. Sonicos is the one responsible for them, but he's not a real person. Just a collection of 20 goons who each play the Sonicos role throughout con. I think I heard they bought them from a printer in Asia somewhere. Yep, it's just 20 goons in a trench coat.
There isn't really a story about this next one. I just wanted to share this sticker. This is my favorite sticker from DEF CON. It's Smurf is amazing.
I think one of my favorites is it's this one right here. I didn't actually put it on anything. It's like the there we go.
Oh yeah, I got one of those laying around somewhere. I think I put it on my suitcase. There was a possibly new record at DEF CON. This one's definitely for Gatorbite. Over 2,000 Meshtastic nodes were at DEF CON 33, possibly a new record. That was cool.
Cool.
And yeah, that was the last one that I plucked out of there. There were obviously a ton more stories that I saw from DEF CON, but Uh, yeah. Next year, definitely need to check out the pool on the roof for sure.
It's
And life
definitely,
has gotten too expensive, my friend.
yeah, I also think DEF CON has gotten very expensive. And it's not the ticket. Like, I will say, if you compare the DEF CON ticket, I think it was $500 this year. Like, it's gotten a lot more expensive. I do remember when it was 100 back in my days. But, like, for how big LVCC is, how nice LVCC is, all the content that goes with it and all of that, I think the biggest thing, which absolutely has massively increased the price, is the hotels in the area.
Oh yeah.
Like all the close hotels to the conference, unless you want to go, like Fountain Blue was silly expensive. I mean, Sahira was close, but that was even that's expensive.
Fountain Blue. Fountain Blue is the closest one. It's right across the street, and that's where we stayed. That hotel room was like $2,300 for Thursday to Monday, which that's probably the most I've ever chipped in on a hotel room for DEF CON. It is getting expensive. Now that said, if you stay off and this is where I spin it back to the cohesion of the conference is starting to break in some ways. And part of it is the fact that we're not in the hotels / casinos, is that there are no on-site, I'm going to go upstairs and hang out in a room with a bunch of people and then go back downstairs and then go back upstairs and then go back downstairs. It's not as seamless. You have to take an Uber, you have to take a shuttle, you have to go off site in some way. It makes it difficult to keep the cohesion between the on-site and the off-site pieces of DEF CON going, for sure.
It looks like Tuscany was 99 to 200 weekends this year, and the rooms are big enough to fit the people. That's cool.
Is that per night or for the not like $100 a weekend or $200 or sorry, $100 a night or $200 for the weekend? Is that what you're saying, Two Trees?
I have to imagine. I think the other thing is Gator. I know Gator always stays at Tuscany too. Like I've heard that one's a lot less expensive, but yeah, Vegas gotten expensive. Even the food there has gotten very expensive. Yeah. I think that is my favorite one. Another one of my favorite stories was Jason Street ties. I promise this ties back together. Jason Street doing his interview, he was saying every year he'll go through the merch line looking for someone who's clearly, I was like, how can he do this? I want to say who's clearly never been to DEF CON. So, he goes, there's a smell about them that they've never been to DEF CON. There's a look about them that they've never gone. But he'll find someone who's never been to DEF CON before, and we get the goon bucks. So we get goon bucks to help pay for food. DEF CON picks up the room and things like this. This is like public. And they give goon bucks. And he'll give them one of his goon bucks. And he gives them their first story at DEF CON. So he'll give them one of the goon bucks, and then he'll tell them, now you can go home and tell someone that you stole a goon's lunch money.
So this is interesting. So
he had got it from Major.
So Nitekri said, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, even when it was spread across multiple hotels, it was losing cohesion. I miss the days of dog piles in lobby when everyone working on projects. Interesting thought, because B-Sides goes on just before DEF CON, and that happens in the Tuscany. I wonder, because one of the issues with the LVCC is it closes down, and it closes down relatively early, other than the on-site parties. And it gives kind of nowhere to go for the people who would normally stay in the chill out rooms listening to music while working on something. I wonder if, and this would be expensive probably, I wonder if DEF CON could just continue or hold the B-side space for offsite chill out rooms, and then get a block, or at one of the block hotels. I don't know what the actual block hotels are. Get some of that space to just have a chill out room there for people that are staying at that hotel to continue DEF CON back at the hotel, but just not with, all this, you know what I mean? Have a chill out space in the block hotels with a DJ or with something for, people to be able to do DEF CON, but not at DEF CON.
I'm guessing DEF CON would be all over it. I'm guessing they would. I think the big one is you need someone to run it. And two, like, I think like this is an example of like it's gotten DEF CON has not I'm gonna use the word significantly grown since pre-COVID to now. I think we're still feeling like kind of the impact of COVID and people and things like that. And just like, again, people miss a few years and it takes them a few years to come back and things like that. I do believe DT announced numbers. They're not. We've had the number we had this year when we were at Paris Bally's. I'm pretty sure. I think the number was around 27. Again, he put it on Reddit. Someone shared it with me. And or responded to someone's comment. So we have the same amount of people we had in the smaller place now at the LVCC, which is ginormous. So I don't think it's a limit on space. In at LVCC, they were open late. There was the chill out lounges at LVCC. I think people just went back and things like that. I don't know, and this is where it's like, I get the idea of like, oh, I miss the people who would just gather up on the hallways. I think the problem is when it was in the Caesars and you gathered up on the hallways, it felt tight. It was very clear, like, oh, there's a group working on this thing. Now, you could have giant groups, like 40 people sitting on the side, and you don't even have to necessarily like sneak around them. There's just space for it now.
The comment from DT on the subreddit was it was about 26K all in, down almost 5% from last year, which the peak of DEF CON was like 33 or 35 or something like that. Yeah. He said, honestly, I was worried it would be worse. Next year will be crazy if this market uncertainty continues for too many more months. Less Canadians, Mexicans, feds, international companies spending less, etc. Everything all piling on. We could see another contraction. And honestly, if it drops down to like 20,000, the LVCC is going to feel empty.
Yeah. They can always shut down pieces of it, though,
wild. Too. What's up?
They could always shut down pieces of it. Like, I think what's interesting in the 2 years that we've been there was like a major shift where the vendor, where all the talks and the vendors were last year, the whole thing was flipped. So now contests were closer to the entrance and vendors were all the way at the end of the hallway and talks were in the middle. I'm wondering, like, every year, it takes usually like probably 3 years to get it, like, I want to say cohesive, but like, to figure out what the flows are and things like that. Like how to handle lines and things like that.
I don't think we have any other things we wanted to touch on today. I know we got some more videos in the tank. Check them out when they come out. More long form interviews. I think all of the AICC interviews are up. Those are really interesting. We might have one more. We had a group that is interested in doing a longer form talk. That we might do. We might do that live. We'll see.
But I think that's everything. I got nothing else. Do you have any parting comments?
Don't let InfoSec distract you from hacking.
I love the fact that they got that over the loudspeaker. However they did it. The last two comments. One, the fact that they got over the loudspeaker is incredible. Two, the fact that the soda machine, the Shells on Demand appliance that was built wasn't there. Like, it was too expensive to ship. It goes across country and all of that. So instead of just going, oh, I guess it's not coming this year, we don't do anything. Like, Dual D, oh gosh, Zora, Dual D, whoever else jumped in that craziness goes, no, I know what we're gonna do. And I love when he introduces it to me. He's like, I can't wait for you to see it. And it's a porta-john. It's a porta-john, which is what Hacker Confessional, like,
it was their trauma dump.
The trauma dump. That's what it was. And they had like a live video in there too. Like, I don't know if it was Priest or whoever it was in the back taking these trauma dumps. Like, just like, so beautiful. We got Gator with Love Your Hacker Family. Thank you, as always, for joining us live. Here is another one. Yep, Dual D and Zora. Just beautiful, beautiful. There is some beautiful people at DEF CON. There's many beautiful people at DEF CON. Love your hacker family. Thank you for watching. And as always, hack on!